So you're done with the study, right? Lakehead done. So now, and we came to you are also a job thing. Yeah, you're in a job. Yeah, you get the job in the town in the mechanical field actually. So, I mean, I heard I know from friends who have done mechanical here. They mostly move to Toronto and all.
Yep.
I know one guy is in Toronto. He's doing the mechanical field. He's like an estimator kind of thing, like project estimate that helps him. He has to do some drawings and all. So just before going directly jump into the question, I had the question I came to know that you need to have some certifications for the mechanical engineering jobs at the end, like to field jobs, if you could say that. So, can you explain me what was that thing, right?
Well, I mean, as a new grad, the biggest certification you need to have is the degree. So,
Oh yeah.
like if that's essentially it.
Okay.
Like it's if you're a new grad,
Mm-hmm.
it's hard for you to have more than that.
Okay.
And I mean, that's one of the things that I wish I had taken a little bit more focus on during school is
Okay.
trying to if you know what you want to get after you graduate,
Uh-huh.
it's much easier to become actionable towards that, right?
Okay.
In terms of doing the right projects, in terms of maybe seeking out the right volunteer experience or participating in the right clubs and stuff like that, just to make your resume that much better when you go to apply as a new grad. In terms of certification though, I mean, there's not really anything that you need as a new grad,
Okay.
other than really your degree and then your relevant experiences that you can come up with from your undergrad. Right?
Okay.
That's
So PPE exam, was that
so that's not required when you graduate to get a job.
Okay.
Right?
So it's not necessary, right? You can still get the job.
You can still get a
without
job without the PPE.
Okay.
Right? So what the PPE is it's an exam you have to write essentially.
Is it all over the federal Canada?
Oh yeah, it's
Okay.
like every province has a different kind of way they
Take this exam.
they take the exam, right? But in Ontario, you can write the exam anytime from when you graduate and are registered with PEO,
Uh-huh.
which is Professional Engineers of Ontario.
Okay.
When you register with them, you can write your exam anytime between that time and when you want to apply for your PH.
Oh.
You have to write the exam before you apply for your PH, right?
Okay.
And then on top of that, to get your PH right now, you have to have 4 years of relevant experience. And
In
you
the
have
mechanical field?
well, in whatever field you're working in,
Okay.
you have to have valuable experience, and they have different criterias that they like to hit, right? So
Okay, it's like a different checkbox.
exactly right.
Okay.
So they have different things that they look for before they're going to give you the PH designation, which is
Okay.
the point where you can actually call yourself an engineer.
Engineer.
Right. So you went through the mechanical engineering program,
Mhm.
but you're not an engineer when you graduate, right?
Okay.
You're not even an EIT until you register
For the PNG.
with
P-
professional engineers.
Oh, okay.
Exactly.
So there's
Right.
all scenario about this.
Exactly.
So now jump to the question of job. So eventually right, you have to work in the field,
Yeah.
right? After
Yeah.
you're done with the graduation and
Yeah.
all. So how you get that, how was that job hunt period? When you think okay, so guys, only 1 or 2 semesters left for my graduation, now I have to get the job. So how you were job hunting that time? So what was that time?
Well, I knew roughly that I wasn't tied to a certain place.
Okay.
I was okay with
Moving anywhere in Canada.
essentially anywhere. Not I don't want to go Northwest Territories.
Oh, obviously, yeah.
Like mostly everywhere, right? So
Okay.
that allowed me to kind of really broaden my search.
Mm-hmm.
But I did start applying, first semester, right?
Oh.
To try and get a job in April,
Okay.
right? Because it allows you to kind of
So you
see what the
one
job.
semester before you
Yeah.
graduated,
Yeah.
you start applying there.
Exactly.
Okay.
Right. Start applying for the jobs. You work on your resume. You throw them out like crazy, hoping
Yeah,
hoping
just-
something sticks for an interview and stuff
Yeah.
like that. Right. So,
You're getting interview calls when you apply?
it's tough, man.
It's tough?
It's tough. It's tough, and
It's actually quite stressed, right?
Oh.
You get rejections every day.
well, the thing is, sometimes you don't even get a rejection. You just
You just get any hurt?
You don't get any
callbacks?
You don't get any callbacks. You don't get any emails telling you whether they went with you or not. You just you throw it out in the world and you hope that something gets back to you.
Oh, that's I
Sometimes you'll-
remember that time, man. When I was looking for the co-ops, we have this co-op thing. It's optional, but I was getting the experience
Yeah.
will help me getting the job easy, right?
Exactly.
After that. So I was every time they said we have this video thing that you have to record it and all. I'm like,
I
I'm
did a
doing
few
it,
of
and
those.
yeah, I'm doing it, and they don't give me any callback. So
Exactly.
I feel like, oh, why I'm doing it, and then, yeah, I remember that it's stressful.
It's stressful. It's very demoralizing.
Yeah.
And it's hard to keep, you know, your head up
Oh.
when you're just throwing the resumes out there, but you're not getting anything. You're tweaking your resume. You know, I've tweaked mine 5 times during the whole entire, you know,
Oh.
process, right? Just because I was trying to figure out like, what do I have to do to make this stick so I can get some callbacks? 'Cause,
Yeah.
you know, but you know, I got lucky.
So you got so resume is done, you know. So how this job like? Are you working at which company you working for?
I work for a company called Resolute Forest Products.
Resolute Force Fulfillments.
Yeah, Forest Products. Yeah.
Or Force Products.
Yeah.
Or Forest Products.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So how this like? How you end up having a job there? Like, and which post you
Yeah.
are at?
So I actually got lucky.
You come on, you study so much. You
Yeah,
got
but
lucky, come on.
I did. I will say I definitely got lucky.
Okay.
Because this came from a professor.
Okay.
At the university here. So she got an email from one of her previous students who, you know, told her that they're looking for
So
people.
previous alumni shoot her a message. Right?
Exactly. We're looking for people. Do you have anybody you'd like to throw in the hat? And at the time, I was working away. But then when I came back, I was studying with some friends. They notified me. I sent her my resume. She sent my resume off to
That guy.
that guy.
Yeah.
He sent it off to HR. HR called me in.
Whoa, man,
And,
that's something like sweet. That's like, yeah.
Well, like it took a bit of time between that, but you know, like I went in, I did the interview and everything like that, and I ended up being successful in the interview process.
So
And
how was the interview? Like tough or like?
the interview, like it was, you gotta understand, like as a new grad, there's
They don't demand that, but they demand
Exactly.
that you have the mindset of learning.
exactly right that
Yeah.
you're someone who's good at learning, who can learn very quickly,
Yeah.
who you can throw
Who
things at. and
actually
they-
want to do the stuff.
Exactly,
Yeah.
right? So the questions were very behavioral, very, you know, give us a situation where you had to do X. How did you react to X?
Okay.
Those are kind of the questions that were given at the time. You know, I was, you know, leading the FSAE team, right? So I
Oh.
had a lot of valuable experiences from that. I
So
could
I
actually
just
use.
want to stop you there. What's this FSC team like?
So it's the Formula SAE team. Essentially, you just build a mini Formula
Car
One
thing?
vehicle.
Oh, okay.
And you take it to race it, you know, and
Oh,
stuff like that. It's
you
like-
into cars every time.
well, like it was a very stressful project.
Oh, okay. So you
and-
design a whole car, like a physical whole car?
Yeah, we built the whole thing.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's
we
cool.
built it. You know, 19 people, including myself on the team.
And you were leading that team?
I was.
Whoa, man.
Yeah, it was stressful, but we actually did. I mean, we did.
So all you guys were in the same class, like the whole
Yeah,
thing?
well, we were all fourth year. We were all fourth year
Okay,
students.
it's just a final year thing,
Yeah,
right? The
yeah.
project you're
It's
talking about.
exactly. It's a degree
Okay.
project, so it's a final year thing. And we all came together, thankfully. You know what I mean? Like it's tough because, you know, there are students that are stronger than others,
Okay.
and there's the strong ones. They're able to put in the time because they're able to know their discipline. Like, okay, I can work on FSAE, and then I'll just go study for this stuff later.
Okay,
you
so
know?
now you get the resume shortlisted and
Yeah.
send HR, and then boom, you got the interview, and then how was like interview was like good, like you asked the behavioral questions, and
Yeah.
you know, give you some good, basically testing your flexibility and moldness of
Yeah.
you know how you get into situations. and all.
Exactly.
So okay, so which was the post? Like what was the post you have working right now?
So I'm a project manager
Okay.
in a department called Capital Engineering.
What was that?
It's capital engineering.
Capital
so,
engineering,
Yeah. So.
okay. So what
I-
is capital engineering?
So essentially, it's just a department that kind of deals in installation of like new assets for the site.
Okay.
Bigger expenditure assets, right?
Okay, like more of the tools they need or something like
So,
that.
not tools, but like machines and
Oh, okay.
equipment, and
Oh, okay.
sometimes you know, like so optimization and stuff like that.
So how this thing is relatable with the mechanical thing that you've done in Lakehead?
Well, it's a very mechanically intensive
Oh,
facility,
is it?
right? Well, lots of piping systems, right? So lots of fluid
Oh.
systems.
Okay, so it's mostly fluid work that is coming into this job, right?
I wouldn't say it's fluid work, but like necessarily like my role,
Okay.
you do need to have a mechanical mindset in
Okay.
some way, shape, or form, just because of the type of work that you're doing and the type of problems that you're trying to solve, right?
Okay.
So you're like a lot of the stuff, you know, you have a lot of pipe runs and stuff like that. You got to understand that. You got valving systems, you got pumping systems and stuff like that. So,
So-
you have to have a general, you have to have an idea of, you know.
So it's like this that okay, so when suppose your project comes up at your work and in the desk, and you have to not that much, but still you have to add some tweaking here that and remembering the last formulas that you studied at Lakehead, and you have to use them so that you can have a better understanding of the project. You have to do that like this.
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
So basically you're using all the study that you studied at Lakehead on that particular
Not
project. every time.
okay. So like you're using it, but you're not using it in the same way that they're required to use using university.
Oh, obviously it has to be different, right? Theoretical and
Exactly.
practical has to be different.
Exactly.
That's why they're different.
In university, your way you're using your knowledge is you're directly applying it to formulas, to problems, and stuff like that. You're doing the calculations, right?
Yeah.
You do that depending on what industry you go into with your degree, right? So
Okay.
civil, you can go into consultancy where you'll be doing a ton of those
Oh.
calculations and everything like that to
Okay.
fully understand the problem. Same with mechanical, right? You can do consultancy on that where you're fully, but depending on which side you go on, you will use more formulas in this variant than the other. You know what I mean?
Okay.
My role as a project manager, like I do use it, but definitely not as intensively as some other, industries that people work in, right?
Okay.
Consultancy and stuff like that, right? I'm mostly dealing, managing like people and making sure that processes kind of flow like together to be able to achieve the project.
Okay, so you help with that, and
Yeah.
with the mechanical aspect of the project.
Exactly.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay, so I got it. So this thing like you done with this, so why only Resolute? Like why don't you? Because I've heard like most my seniors also they moved out of the Thunder Bay. They did the study, okay, boom, done. We are going out now, different places. Like some go to Vancouver, Toronto, and all job hubs. So why Thunder Bay every time? You could get the better option, right? Like
Well, you could, but at the time I didn't. Right? You could, right? But at the time I didn't. This was the option that came up, and
and you just pick it.
I picked it, right? Just because at the time I didn't have any other options. So, and I'm glad to say that I'm glad that I picked it. It's a very good job. I'm learning a lot from it.
Oh, if you're if you're in a learning curve, then you're
Well, that's
the job
exactly
is
exactly right.
Yeah.
So I'm learning a lot from the job, and overall, I gotta say that my experience there has been very positive.
okay.
I don't really have much complaints about the company.
So Resolute is only in this area, like it's all. It's
Oh yeah, we have mill. We have the mill here. All over. There's a couple others in.
So it's not a small MNC, it's a big MNC.
Yeah,
Separated like
yeah,
different places.
Exactly. We're in Quebec. We're in the United States as well.
Okay, so you said that you got lucky. So what you must be like in contact with your classmates, right? You have done the degree, so all of them get the job still.
At now.
Oh yeah, I remember this COVID.
Yeah.
If you don't talk about this COVID stuff, like because this COVID hits everyone, right?
Yeah.
And so
I mean, coming out of school, I wouldn't say that everybody got jobs right away. People definitely applied for a little bit longer.
Okay.
I was lucky to start my job as quickly as I did. I graduated in April. I started my job July 3rd, 2019.
Oh man, you always done the building, right?
So I like I said, I was lucky.
Okay.
And I know a friend of mine who applied for over a year before he found a position. Right.
So
it's
that was the max time, like a year for the defense.
I think a year and a half. I think was the max.
Okay.
A year and a half. So it's.
But
not,
that's only like 2 or 3 cases. Like most of them got like 6-7 months, I could say. Is it correct?
Yeah. Within 6-7 months, you could say that most of them.
And most of them goes to like is it like they separated like different chunks in the part of Canada, or like most of them like like one area.
No, most of the people found jobs like within the city that they originally came from. Right.
Okay.
There's most. That's where most people went back. They went back to the city where they came from.
Okay.
And then found a job there.
Okay.
That's what they did.
So the mechanical prospects of the different city. About because your father was there in Edmonton as a mechanical in this engineering field.
Yeah.
You in this engineering field. So about Edmonton too. So what do you think about this mechanical things and its career prospects in the town, like in Thunder Bay?
And Thunder Bay is a small city.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
So, there's quite a few companies and everything like that, but it can be tough just because of the size.
Okay.
And depending on the amount of prospects that come out 1 year, it's very tough to find a job because there's so many people applying for only this many jobs,
Okay.
right? So it can be a little bit difficult. But mechanical is strong. I mean, you have mining, you have pulp and paper, right, with the mill and everything. You have the sawmill as well, and then the Bombardier plant. So there is opportunity for work as a mechanical guy in Thunder Bay, for sure. Civil is definitely another big one here, with transportation and as well as structural stuff and everything like that, right? So there's opportunities. There's opportunities.
There's an opportunity in mechanical.
Yeah.
So if I could say that, like, okay, in my computer science we have this thing, data scientist, software development, and there's like different fields of it of that, right? So if I could say like, which are the like you said, the fluids mostly work, like not that much, but yeah, fluids is the part that's really helping you really studied Lakehead and helping in the job. You can relate well to that thing. So if I could say that naming some topics that actually important, to give an extra care of that particular thing in the mechanical while studying, so that could be helping in the industry. If you would say, if you name like 5 and 3, like whatever thing. I know like everything is important, but if you name like.
Honestly, understanding fluids is
the thing.
Oh yeah, it's major because you have flowing fluids everywhere, and especially with mechanical and everything, it'll touch almost anything.
Okay.
I think understanding of fluids is pretty critical.
Critical.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I would say that.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so all this job prospects done, and also just mainly people ask this question, like the salary expectations that you could have, like just you graduated in mechanical engineering, done the undergrad, and you get the job. So what could be the salary expectations? Like for computer science, mostly like roughly goes around, which I have learned from you, like 70,000 to more than that, like 80,000. You can say the salary expectations. So what about this mechanical thing?
I think it starts a little bit lower than that.
Okay.
I would say most places I found, you're looking at 55 to 60 starting.
Okay.
And
but that varies to place, right?
Yeah, it varies province to province,
okay.
because it's also tied with cost of living and stuff like that, right? So that's kind of the typical range that I've heard of.
Okay.
So, and honestly, it's a very liberal wage. The thing is the sky's the limit once you start from there, right?
Okay, and if you could say that the best schools, you have some friends in different schools who are doing the mechanical, like someone study from Alberta mechanical.
Yeah.
So, which school is like better for mechanical engineering, if you could say that?
That's a tough one. Because there's so many universities, and I can't say that I've looked at the rankings.
Like, does it matters, like, and for the job?
It does matter if you're trying to work, if there's a specific company you're trying to work for.
Okay.
Because some companies do prefer some universities above others.
Oh, okay, so
right?
they do that.
Exactly. Like they sometimes look at where you came from.
Yeah,
right?
because like from computer science, there are 3 main universities. That if you get it, then you're successful the whole life. There's a University of Waterloo we have on the top. Then this is Toronto, University of Toronto, and then the UBC, British Columbia. These 3 universities, if you get the computer science there, you get the job. You get like smooth life for in the field, and you don't have to worry about the career prospects. Yeah. Obviously, you have to study, but
No, it's the same with any discipline, with mechanical, structural, engineering, civil engineering, right?
So what university names, if you could give the like 3 best universities?
Three best.
Yeah.
It's tough. I mean, you have McGill University is still pretty popular.
Okay.
That's definitely one. University of Toronto, obviously.
Okay.
It's tough because I didn't do too much research in like when I was looking for universities. I was like I'm in Edmonton. I have the University of Alberta. It's a very well recognized university. I'm just gonna go there. Right?
Oh, okay.
And then I went to Lakehead. That's essentially it, But if people really want to know, just do a quick Google search. Top mechanical engineering universities, Canada.
Okay.
There's rankings that are published every single year, right? So it's very easy to get that information if you really want it. Right?
So these are less prospects and all. Okay, so let's go to the question that left something. Oh yeah, that's one question. So the final question now. So after you have like 2 years experience or 1 year experience till now?
Now I'm at 2.5 years.
Oh man,
it's crazy. Time flies.
Oh,
Time flies. Yeah, it's wild.
It's wild. Started like Alberta, Lakehead, this job, and only 2.5 years for that. So what's the plan next? Like, you want to go some research thing, or just want to hunt in the industry now?
Well, I mean, I'm probably gonna get an MBA is something that I'm looking into. I think I want to get that because I think I want to stay the management route.
Okay.
Because you gotta look at everything, like the full with the
This
project.
is a full life cycle that, in the jobs and all. Okay, in a good sense too, that we have started with a developer, then tech leads, and then the manager. Ending up, we are managing the people.
Exactly, where you're looking at, you're looking from a bird's eye view, but you get to understand a little bit of everything and how everything relates to each other. So I think MBA is going to help me towards that. So that's in the plans. I do want to do the MBA at some point.
Okay. But you will never leave the job, right? You get the part-time. You're gonna do the full-time MBA, or like?
I haven't decided yet. Okay. I think right now the thought is to, stay away from the full-time because I do want to keep on making money.
Yeah.
So I would probably do it part-time and just finish a little bit longer. But
and you want to just live in Thunder Bay, right? You love the city, right?
Well, who knows?
I get it.
You know what I mean? Like anything is possible. Anything can happen.
Oh yeah, if COVID is on,
you know what I mean. So at this time, I do like where I'm at. So we'll see. Anything's possible right now.
If you want to see that, how was the whole Thunder Bay journey till now? Like, is it like, if you want to do it in the in this video with like Thunder Bay journey, like your studies and then job, hunting, your stressful assignments, hectic schedules, your job, like, how would you say that? Like,
I think it's been positive.
Yeah.
The experience has been good. I mean, I've learned a lot about myself. I've made some amazing people, met some amazing people here, like going through this Lakehead University transition program. And overall, I mean, whether I decide to stay or go, Thunder Bays will have left a mark on me for sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you have the names on this list, on some honors list?
No. I don't know what the heck this list is.
It's an honors list here, like.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Oh no, I'm not on this. These are way bigger people than me.
Okay. Yeah. So thank you so much, Omar, for coming to the video, and really thanks for that. And guys, अगर आपको और भी questions हो, and if you have some other different questions about mechanical, just put in the comments, and I'll make sure that question reaches to him. Thank you guys, and hope you guys like this video, and thank you guys. Like, share, subscribe, and put the bell notification on, and see you next time. Thank you.